Hey everyone, it's Hailey, and today I'm going to be doing my March TBR. So it feels very strange that I'm already doing my March TBR, considering the fact that one of my most recent videos that I did was my February TBR. I uploaded that very late, I planned it out very late, and did I read anything from it? I don't know if I even read one book from it actually. Oh, I don't know. But March, we are getting back to it. I am actually going to redeem myself and hit my Goodreads goal. I am behind right now by I don't even know how many books, probably 3 or 4, but no more. I'm getting back on track. I have this whole month planned out. I've got a whole plan. It's gonna be great. Everything's going to go according to plan. I'm already stressed. I know a lot of people don't generally like Goodreads goals, but I do because it gives me something to strive towards. It gives me something to work to, and that helps to motivate me to read. So personally, that is why I'm putting this pressure on myself. It still makes reading fun, but it also motivates me to not be a lazy person. And I just remembered Animal Crossing is coming out in March for Switch, and I'm still gonna read, damn it. My goal for the beginning of the year was to read 2 books each week, and I have done like none of that. But to get back on track, I'm gonna have to do this month and then like a little bit more if I can read more, but 2 books a week, that's what we're doing. So since there are, I forget how many weeks in March, but I can read 9 books total this month is my goal, which is not that bad, but I have 9 books here. I've actually like planned it out. It's not, I was just like, maybe I'll read this, this, and this, which is what I usually do for TBRs. No, I'm sticking to the challenges that I set for last month, but also I brought numbers into it. What I set out to do was read 1 physical book each week and then listen to 1 audiobook. If I read 2 physical books one week, that's fine, like whatever, but that was just kind of how I broke it down in my head into manageable chunks. So with 9 books total for March, 5 of those are going to be physical reads and 4 of them are gonna be audiobooks. I also have my TBR challenges, which I will have down below for you guys that I'm still gonna try and do. So let's get into the books. So first up is Missborn by Brandon Sanderson. This fits a few of my TBR challenges. So it is a backlisted book, which is a book that has been on my TBR forever. I used to call it a TBR veteran, but I've had this book for so long, and it is also a big book. It is more than 400 pages, and it is also a fantasy. Reading the synopsis for this, I honestly got nothing, but I know it's about like metal eating magic, and everyone seems to love this book. So if I don't love this, I'm gonna be really sad. This I think I'm going to try and listen to the audiobook for. Let me know if you have listened to it, if that's the way to go for it, or if you recommend physically reading it, and then I'll kind of move some stuff around. Actually, for any of these, let me know if you have listened to the audiobook for it and it was good, or if you physically read it and you think that is better. I don't know. Next is Time of Our Lives by Emily Wibberley and Austin Siegemund-Broka. This is an arc, so it fits that TBR challenge, and it is one that I'm quite excited for. I've read the 2 other books by this author duo. Their first one was my favorite, but this one sounds like it's going to be really good. So it deals with life after high school and what happens in that kind of limbo between high school and college. So it has 2 characters who meet on a college tour. The one is hoping to go to this college to stay close to home because his mother has early onset Alzheimer's, and then the other character is hoping to go to this school because she wants to get as far away from her overprotective parents as possible. So as their paths cross, it's all about them and kind of hashing out those sorts of things. I'm always looking for books that have college age students or a little bit of an older protagonist, so I think that that will fulfill my need for that. Next is The Conference of Birds by Ransom. I'm hoping to listen to the audiobook for this one. I've listened to the audiobooks for most of the series for this. This is the, I don't know if it's the last book, but it's the latest installment in the Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children series. This fulfills the challenge of reading a new release as well as a sequel. I've got lots of backlisted sequels on my TBR that I would like to get to, but I kind of wanted to get to this one since I had forgotten it was coming out at all. But for this one, I like to listen to the audio as well as follow along because it does have like creepy little pictures that go along with it. It's just anything old kind of creeps me out. So these old pictures I'm like mildly afraid of, especially like things like that. But I'm going to need to refresh myself on what happened in the previous books since I don't really remember, but I am excited to dive back into this world because it's very cool. So those are all the books for my TBR challenges. The following assuming books could also fit for some of them, but those three are just the ones that I have picked out specifically for that purpose. So next is American Royals by Katharine McGee. This could fulfill the challenge of new release, but I'm planning on listening to the audiobook for this one. This is the author of The Thousandth Floor, which was, I think it's a trilogy. I don't know if it's a duology or a trilogy, but I only read the first book, didn't end up continuing it. It was kind of like a sci-fi sort of tech city gossip girl, which was fun, but this is an alternate history of the US. So it's kind of like what happened at the end of the Revolutionary War, what would happen if instead of offering George Washington the presidency, they offered him a crown. So it's following the descendants of him as they still are the royal family. And you follow three siblings who are all in line for the throne and their story in this alternate version of the US, which I think would be really interesting, especially because there's such a fascination with the British royal family now with all that stuff with Meghan and Harry, like they're all just up in that. So I'm very intrigued by this and I think I've heard some pretty good things about it. I think it's going to be really fun. So I'm looking forward to listening to this. Next is the Guinevere Deception by Kiersten White. This is all about Guinevere and she has been sent by Merlin to protect Lancelot, but the strings attached to that are that she can never say her real name, she can never reveal who she actually is. It's a King Arthur retelling that's gender bent. I'm not that familiar with the original legend of King Arthur, admittedly, so I might kind of refresh myself ahead of time, but I did start reading it at one point and then ended up putting it down because then I moved, so I was like, no fantasy right now, that's not gonna happen. But I have read a couple of other things by Kiersten White. I've read, what was it? The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein, really enjoyed that, so I'm hoping I will also like this. Next is All the Stars and Teeth by Adalyn Grace. This is an ARC, but it's actually already out, so you guys can go and check it out. But I have seen this like all over Twitter, so that is kind of why I was like, maybe I will pick this up this month. It follows a princess who is supposed to demonstrate her mastery of soul magic. Everyone else in her kingdom gets to choose their magic, but because she's a princess, she has to know soul magic, but then her demonstration goes terribly wrong and she ends up having to flee and she meets this mysterious, broody pirate, which is very cliche, but we all love it. But she ends up getting lost in this kind of under like sea kingdom. I don't know. I know it says there's mermaids and like lots of sea things, so I'm intrigued. Next is All Your Twisted Secrets by Diana Urban. You guys have seen this in a couple of TBRs. I think I've included it in like, I think it was just the last one actually. The point is, I do really want to get to this one. It is coming out, when is it? Oh, it's coming out in March. So if I can get to this before it comes out, that would be great. But in case you guys haven't heard me talk about this before, it follows all of these different students who have different backgrounds, but they were all invited to the scholarship dinner only to discover when they get there that it is a trap. There is a syringe filled with poison and a bomb. And what they have to do is decide which one of them to kill or else they all die. So that just hooked me. Next is Gilt by Katharine Longshore. This is a Tudor era historical fiction. I have at least one other, I think I have another one of her books at home, but well, this is my home now. At old home, I still have a few books there that I need to go through, but the point is I've had these books for a very long time and I would like to try to get to them. So this follows Catherine Howard, but specifically Catherine Howard's sister. So her sister Kitty is brought to court and then she ends up being caught between two men. So I think it's kind of like a love triangle that's building up here. So we'll see how I feel about that. And finally is Wolf by Ryan Graudin. I have needed to read this for a very long time. I asked my boyfriend to pick a few books for a boyfriend picks my TBR video, and this is the one of the ones that he picked, as well as a few others that like I haven't gotten to yet. Life has just gotten away from me and I really just need to get my shit together. But this is another alternate history story, but it is if Hitler survived. So the concept of it is that there's this annual motorcycle race and if you win, you get to meet Hitler, who's very reclusive and like obviously. But the main character is a former death camp prisoner and she wants to win this race to kill him. So more power to her. I was reading the synopsis and there was like skin shifting power too. So like, I feel like there's gonna be a lot going on here, but I've read at least one other book. I think I've only read The Walled City by Ryan Graudin, and I enjoyed that book, but I've heard some great reviews for this one too. It's definitely an ambitious and unique concept, so hopefully it lives up to that. So those are all of the books that are on my March TBR. If you guys have read any of these books, please let me know your thoughts on them. I would love to know, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!